Hey guys, today's video is all about brows, so let's get straight into it. I've grabbed my piece of soap and my setting spray, which I'm going to spray onto the piece of soap and grab a spoolie to get product from the soap. I'm just going to rub the spoolie against the soap and then brush it against my brows in an upward motion. You'll see me doing that. So this helps with defining the brow, and not only that, but it also keeps the hair in place. I myself have sparse eyebrows, so there's not much hair to keep in place, but mainly for people who have bushy eyebrows, this really helps to ensure that your hair stays in place and isn't wild. I used to use wax for this, but I found that the soap trick is so much better. I learned this from a friend of mine who's also a makeup artist. So grateful for that trick. And you want to do it in an upward motion. And when you're done, you grab the piece of soap and just rub it against the brow to really set it in place. And then with a sharp pencil, I'm going to outline my brow. So even if the outline isn't perfect, that's still okay because we're still going to clean it up with concealer, so don't mind it. But you want to be sure that you've got a really well outlined brow, even if you're going to clean it up, especially the bottom part of your brow. And then to fill in the brow, I'm going to be using my MAC Black Coffee, or is it Black and Coffee? Black and Coffee eyeliner, yes. So just fill it in and keep going until all the parts are filled in. So I'm just going to be using light strokes to fill this in. You don't want to press it on too hard, except for the tail part. That's the only place you really press it in so that your tail is really defined. And in an upward motion for the front part of your brow. And then I'll go in again with the spoolie. And again with the pencil to fill in again. To clean up the bottom part, I'm going to be using the medium bisque from LA Girl pro.conceal. So this is for the bottom part of the brow. I'm just going to put some product on the top of my hand and then grab my concealer brush. And to make sure it's flat, I'm going to do this trick where I pinch it like you can see, and then I go back in and get more product and make sure it's properly lathered with product. Don't be scared to use product. You need the product to have a clean cut and well defined brow. And now I'm going in and just cleaning it up and defining it with the concealer. So just take your time with this. There's no need to rush, especially with the bottom part of the brow, because as long as you've got beautiful brows, even if you make a mistake a mistake with your eyeshadows, as long as your brow is well done, I believe you can get away with it. You know, the brow is the most important feature of any makeup look. I always say that. Well, that's what I believe anyway. But yeah. So I'm going to clean up the brow. And then push the product down to my eyelid, and I'm going to cover my entire eyelid with the concealer. This helps with people who've got dark eyes. I'm one of them, mainly because I wear spectacles. I'll just clean that corner a bit so that my tail is really sharp. And then what I'm going to do is spray my beauty blender with setting spray. Not too much, just a little to make it damp. And then I'm going to go over and blend my eyelid with that beauty blender by just tapping it in. So I'm just tapping all of the product into my eyelid. And to clean up the top of my eyebrow, I'm going to be using Maybelline Fit Me foundation in shade 360, that's Mocha. I don't want to use concealer, so I'm just going to do the same trick with the concealer brush and then go in to clean up the top part. This makes it easier also when you're not applying foundation. That's why I didn't use concealer. But if I was to use concealer, I would have used the LA Girl Pro.conceal in the shade Dark Cocoa. Yes, that's the shade I go for. So just make sure that the shade you use at the top is closest to your foundation shade. And I think I like how they came out. Neat. And now to set my eyelids, I'm going to be using the Beckissue in shade 2. And what I'm going to do is apply that all over my lid again. Yes, don't be afraid to use product. You need the product to have a perfect eye look. And I know some people use concealer, that's still okay, but for some looks I just believe that you actually need to prime your eyes with the perfect eyeshadow primer. And I couldn't get my hands on the P. Louis, so the Beckissue is just as good. So this is what I'm using. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't mess up my brow there, and follow the outline that's already there. And then again, I'm going to lather the product all over my eyelid. So once again, the setting spray and sponge trick. And this time I'm not going to use a beauty blender but a sponge, just so I don't end up messing up my brow. That's why I'm using this sponge instead. Okay, and then to set my eyes, I'm going to be using the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Setting Powder in shade 1. And I'm going to use my sapphire brush and just set, and we're done.